So insecure.
Lacrosse boys. Sir. We're gonna be fashionably late. Either fashion, always late. Actually, never mind. We're like Gandalf. We're wizards. Never late nor early. Right, precisely when we mean to. Ho ho ho. Chololo. Oh, give me 1 second. Yo, what's going on, guys? So I wanted to make this voiceover, kind of just detailing a little bit of what my plan is for the upcoming massing phase, and kind of just brief you on what's been going on. So you obviously saw we hit some PRs, which, surprise, surprise, I start eating more and actually eating enough food, and then my strength goes up. So, real talk here. I have simply just not been eating enough, basically since my meet. For no good reason, to be honest. I just got stressed out. It was just my response to the pandemic, kind of feeling a lack of control. And unfortunately, one of my tendencies is to, I guess, restrict food and not eat as much. When I get stressed out, it's a bad coping habit that I kind of developed when I was anorexic, and it's something that does still kind of plague me to this day. I have a very easy time getting and staying lean. Like the mindset of cutting, dieting, whatnot, isn't hard for me. I found it more difficult to let myself eat in a controlled surplus. I don't exactly know why. I think it just has to do with an obsession with kind of just staying lean and whatnot, which I know a lot of people do struggle with. But I think it's important for me to acknowledge this, and just because I know a lot of people do struggle with this from experience coaching a ton of people. But it's something that I'm doing better at. But my whole plan going forward is to eat in a calorie surplus for the next upcoming months, hopefully through January, and then hopefully gain about 10 to 20 pounds of tissue. Kind of show you guys how I'm doing that. My current weight right now, I'll pop it up on the screen. But I got pretty light. I've been really underweight for a while. I competed in March around like 176, and I've been like around like 173, 175 recently, which is really, really light. My goal is to gain 5 to 10% on my body weight, so basically 10 to 20 pounds over the next few months. I'll show you guys how I periodize mini cuts in there and whatnot going forward, and with powerlifting training and whatnot. But the whole purpose of this series is just kind of show you the whole massing process, what to expect, how I'm applying science-based training, and whatnot. But basically, what you guys are seeing is I set some PRs, which I'm pretty happy about. Strength has been doing a lot better. Performance in the gym, I'm not as tired. The bars, like, I actually feel strong again. I haven't felt strong in months, which is kind of sad to say. I guess I've been mostly frustrated about, because I understand that for my goals, I need to gain weight. I need to actually put on muscle, because it's kind of not going to happen if I don't eat enough, right? Plus, being 175 pounds at 6 feet tall, obviously have a lot of room to still grow. I'm still, early intermediate stage of lifting. So, my whole plan for right now for this upcoming hypertrophy mesocycle, you guys are seeing my full leg workout that I did, is to do hypertrophy, for this upcoming block. I'm going to be in a 200 calorie surplus. So for me, I'm estimating that to be around 4,000 calories, which is a lot of food, but I'm pretty active. And just, genetics will determine a lot of that. It's a blessing and a curse. I can maintain my body weight and a certain level of leanness pretty much without too much problem, but then eating more and gaining weight becomes a little bit more of a monotonous task and whatever. Basically, for myself to gain weight, I kind of just have to be uncomfortably full. But that is what it is. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But anyways, 200 calories surplus, hopefully gaining about 0.25 to 0.5% of body weight per week, like I always recommend. And then just really focusing on training hard and really just focusing on performance. But yeah, things went pretty well. Like I said, for this first week. My whole plan for going forward with my training is just to start enjoying it more. I really want to be able to, hit some big numbers on squat, bench, and deadlift. My goals for bench, I want to be able to do. I want to be able to hit 350 pause. I want to be able to do 455 on squat. I'm switching to low bar. It's kind of weird. And the problem with the bars at this gym is that they're not exactly, they don't have a center knurling on them basically, so it will kind of slide on my back, which isn't ideal because I kind of have to readjust my positioning, and it's just not exactly as strong. Just because if the bar's moving on your back, you kind of are like, holy crap, I don't want to die. So, but then for so deadlift 700. Squat 455, and then hopefully bench 350 paused. So those are my main goals, and I want to be able to get up to a lean 180, at least hopefully 185. If things go well. But yeah, that's basically the plan going forward. I'm going to be gaining weight, and showing you guys how I'm going to get stronger and aesthetic. But besides that, I'm now accepting some one-on-one training clients. So if you guys are interested, make sure to send me an email or DM on Instagram. Yeah, this training session went pretty well. I did some bicep curls and some lateral raises afterwards, but I didn't film it because those were boring. I kind of just wanted to get out of the gym. But yeah. Good first week of training, and more of the stories I'm going to grow. Alright guys, so right here, just to end out this video, I wanted to go over just a few things that you want to consider before you do go into a massing phase or a weight gain period where you're consciously going to be trying to gain muscle. Because I think a lot of people need to first understand this main thing. First, you need to understand that you need to be in a good position to actually build muscle. What I mean by that is, can you actually train hard and consistently? Can you make use of the calorie surplus to actually, perform better? Because that's the number one thing that people need to actually be able to have a rational self conversation. Because if you're just eating more food, but if you're not able to consistently train, you're not able to, apply progressive overload, you're not on a good science-based program, you're not, you basically don't have all these basic ducks in a row, you're simply just not going to make, that much progress with muscle gain, and you're going to gain more fat than you are muscle. Because we need to understand that nutrition is permissive to muscle growth. It basically lights a fire. The power of a calorie surplus is heightened recovery, increased testosterone, heightened anabolism, increased muscle protein synthesis, etc., etc. But that alone, just eating a calorie surplus will not build muscle. Look at people, the general population. They don't train hard with weights. They don't have an overloading stimulus for their muscles to actually grow, for that partitioning to be enhanced and go into the muscles, so that calorie surplus just turns into body fat. So first off, you need to understand, if I'm going to go into a conscious surplus, I must be in a position where I can actually train hard consistently for an extended period of time and recover from that training. So that means, can I be sleeping, a minimum of 6 hours per night, preferably 7 to 9 hours? Can I control my life stress? If I'm in a really stressful spot, if you're a PhD student, if you're not going to be able to just to sleep and recover from your training, you're not going to really build that much muscle, and you're probably mostly going to gain body fat. Like Dr. Eric Helms, who has a PhD and is, one of the most prolific exercise scientists today, he intentionally did not gain weight. He was just eating on maintenance during his PhD because he wasn't in a spot where he could actually apply a progressive overload stimulus to make use of a surplus. He knew that if I went to a surplus, I would probably mostly just gain fat. So make sure that is the case. Can you train progressively and support that hard training for it to make sense for gaining calorie surplus? That's consideration number one. Number two is, am I okay with gaining a little bit of body fat in the short term to actually get bigger? Because most people, you really do need to actually have a self conversation. Am I okay to actually, sacrifice a little bit of the shreds for more muscle growth long term? If the answer is yes, then awesome, let's do this. If you're not okay with that, then just eat around maintenance and you'll still grow some muscle. It just won't be as much. But if you really want to maximize your muscle growth, then yes, this is a conversation that you need to have with yourself. Now, something that might sell you on this is, you can refer to my last video on this topic because I kind of went into depth on it, but losing fat's really easy. As long as you're tracking your steps, you're not eating like an asshole. You know what your calorie surplus actually is. It's not too much or too little. Then you're not going to gain that much fat, and the fat loss in the fat that you do put on will be very, very easy to come off. Third thing that you need to know is, I need to know my calorie maintenance. So basically, the reason why I say this is because it's really important to know your maintenance, so then you can trust thermodynamics. Because if you don't know what your maintenance is, first off, a really great way to just do it is, I have one of two ways. Go into the Google machine, type of calorie calculator, enter in all your details, blah, blah, blah. Probably the more details that you have to enter in, the more accurate it will be. But enter in all those details, will spit out a number. It might be accurate, it might not be. And you can track that for a week and see how your body weight's moving. And then basically, if you're maintaining weight, that's your maintenance. If you're gaining weight, that's not your maintenance, you're in a surplus. If you're losing weight, that's not your maintenance, you're in a deficit, and adjust up and down accordingly. My preferred method is just track what you're eating right now and see it and weigh yourself for about a week or two, and then see how the scale's moving, and then you can make an adjustment call off of that. So that's know your maintenance calories, and then trust thermodynamics. When you do go into a surplus, typically you'll have some body weight confusion within the first week. I usually recommend for people to ignore that first week of massing of any any new phase, because you're gonna have lots of the first weight change up, down, whatever, in a fat loss or in a muscle gain phase, or moving from a muscle gain to maintenance, or fat to maintenance. A lot of that first week is just going to be body water changes. So trust thermodynamics. If you know you're in a 200 calorie surplus or whatever, just trust the thermodynamics, let your body weight do its thing, and then only track your calories, or only really pay attention to the movements on the scale after that first week, because it's just noise in that the first week. So trust thermodynamics. And yeah, just the biggest thing is just enjoy it if this is something that you do choose to do. Enjoy the awesome training, enjoy the awesome pumps, focus on performance, and really just fall in love with the process. A lot of times people will have this, the grass is always greener, I wish I was cutting, or I wish blah, 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 blah. Fully invest yourself in the process for a specific outcome. And that's really how you be successful. If you're always kind of just looking forward and thinking, oh, well, if I get to here, you're never really going to be happy. So make sure that you're doing this for the right reasons. But that's it for this video. Hope that you guys enjoy it. I'm excited for this mass, and hopefully I'll be able to put on some muscle and it won't become super fat. But anyways, I'll show you guys how I progress throughout this, and I'm excited for it. So anyways, please like the video, subscribe if you guys are interested in coaching or programs. Links are down below, and I'll catch you later.